Running Sentences presents a bonus episode short story called Debated. A debate about right and wrong is set to occur by two people. Things get a little heated, and the moderator has quite the task keeping things moving along. This story is written and narrated by Michael Hunray. It is a work of fiction, so any names, characters, businesses, events, and situations within the story are products of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to real people, situations, characters, businesses, events, and/or fictional businesses, characters, events, and so on and so forth is purely coincidental. Copyright 2026, Michael Hunray, all rights reserved. A stage set up with two podiums occupying spaces near the center stage sat empty. These podiums were divided by a table which a man in a stiff suit sat at. He had a bunch of note cards in his hand, and applause broke out from the crowd. Good evening, and welcome to our debate. I'm your moderator for the evening, Charles, and we have a lively little conversation, that's lovely, that will be considered. But before we get to that, first we must meet our talkers. Taking up the podium on the right is Keith O'Ryan. Keith steps from the side stage, waving his hands to the crowd, who applaud politely. He arrives at his spot, smiles, and speaks into the microphone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pleasure to be here and to tell you what you should be thinking. The moderator then spoke up. And to our left-hand side of the stage is Ethan Quarter, a man renowned for his ability to talk and talk some more. Emerging from the left side of the stage, Ethan waved both of his hands at the crowd, who were a rather small gathering of people. They were still applauding. He went to his podium and took up his spot with a big, fake-looking smile. Hello, audience. Are you ready to be won over to my side of the argument? Of course you are. Why else would you be here? And now, with all that done, we're ready to begin talking about our topic for the day, the moderator said. No matter what it is, I'll win. Keith, your humble begging will not win over the lovely audience, especially if you don't let the poor moderator speak. Oh, you're one to talk, Ethan. All you do is yap about how great you are and degenerate your opponent for trying to win some fans. Gentlemen, Mr. Keith, Mr. Ethan, if we can get on with this. Both men looked over at the moderator, frowned, but nodded that it was okay. Good. Now, audience, today's topic du jour is people. How right or wrong they can be on things. You may take up whatever arguments you like to prove your point. Mr. Keith, you may go first, the moderator said. A moment of silence fell over the two debaters as they looked surprised at the moderator and then to one another. It took them more than a moment to think of things, so the moderator cut in once again. I will warn you that you only have 30 seconds for your first statement to start, otherwise I will turn it over to the other person. Shit, right, Keith hurriedly said. People are people who tend to get things wrong and right all the time. We should not rush to judge them for their actions. No, we must judge them for their actions, Keith. They have performed something we find distasteful, and thus need to look at it carefully. Who are you to judge distaste, Ethan? I'm only going off of what people find acceptable. It is why there are juries. The law is written out so that no one finds themselves in a situation that they don't feel comfortable with. Who, though, gets to decide what is acceptable? Certainly not you, Keith. You have some odd choices in acceptability. And you're any better, Ethan? I didn't say I was, just that you were a bad choice. That isn't even the topic, Keith pointed out. I say it is, since we need to figure out what's right and wrong of people. If we can't do that, then we can't really have a debate, now can we? Oh, we can have one, Ethan. You're just worried about being wrong, so you want to talk about the little things instead of the big picture objects. The little things are important to the big picture. You can't have one without the other. Ethan shot back. You can too. We think about the big ideas more often than the small ones. Ask anyone here. They'll tell you they have big dreams for their lives. But little ones, I bet half the audience, no, less, maybe 25%, don't think about those small dreams. Keith crowed. Big words that mean little. And most people have small, achievable dreams, Keith. The moderator of the debate gave a slight, if polite, cough to grab their attention. Ahem! If we could get back on the subject of people, not just bickering about how right your ideas are, gentlemen. We want to know what you think about people in general. We were talking about that? Ethan replied to the moderator. Yeah, our talk, as Ethan says, is about that. We're starting with ourselves, since that's what we know. Keith agreed. Once we have the basis for right and wrong, moderator, for us, then we can move on to the greater group of people. Not that Ethan would win that sort of argument. Oh, I would totally win, Keith. It's you who don't know anything about people and how they think about how they think. Really now. I know all too well how people think and want to think, as I've demonstrated here today. The picture is quite clear, Keith declared. Is it? With all the big picture thinking you do, Keith, I'm sure you forget all about the little things you crunch beneath your feet. The little things aren't worth sweating about when the big things are all the worry. It's all anyone ever thinks about. You see this audience? They're thinking about the big picture thanks to the big monitor. He gives such a broad topic that it is our only choice to talk big ideas. But we have to talk about the little things to get to the big things. If you merely ignore all that's going on, then those little things add up and become a big thing so you can no longer deal with it. And then we deal with it then because that's what we do. It's become a big thing, so we deal with it. Plus, sweating all the small stuff isn't any fun. Ethan was shaking his head and then said, The big and little stuff matter equally. You can't concentrate on one or the other. You must take them on at both the same time. You think I'm silly enough not to know that, Ethan? Yes, Keith, yes. I'm sorry I have to interrupt you two, but you do realize that you're agreeing with one another, not actually debating. This is supposed to be an argument, not an agreement. The moderator growled. We do not agree with one another. I would never agree with Ethan. No, I would also not agree with Keith and his way of thinking about things. We both agree that you need to take care of the small and big problems we have, and have yet to really broach the topic beyond that. It's not our fault. The topic is too broad. We have to have some small and big discussions to get to our point and to get to an agreement, Ethan complained. We are only going with what you've given us, Mr. Charles, Keith added. Yes, and since you two are agreeing with one another and not actually debating, that's where we'll call it for tonight. It just goes to show that... The moderator droned. Hang on. We can't just end this. We've only already gotten started, Ethan bitterly complained. The moderator continued, undisturbed by Ethan's comments. People, more often than not, agree with one another, but once they get an idea in their heads that they're right, then the person they're arguing with simply must be wrong. It is what it is. Remember to listen to whoever you're arguing with. You may actually be closer in your argumentative points than you realize. Good night. The end of the bonus episode, short story, Debated. Thank you for listening.